I chose a product called Lumberock. I saw it at your house and it's been 3 or 4 years and it looks like the day it was laid down.
What's cool about it is it's completely green, John. They're using ground up milk jugs, okay, and they're recycling this product and there's literally no maintenance. Pressure treated lumber on the main dock here at Blowing Rocks Marina, and you can see that it is really starting to disintegrate. Welcome back. Thank you, Buck. That was a great introduction. We're going to learn about a totally different type of dock tread today called Lumberock, and that leads us to this expert right over here. This is Phil Rack, and Phil is the National Sales Manager for Lumberock, or Engineered Plastic Systems. And I was telling everybody, Phil, that the material is actually made from these things right here. Okay, this is kind of ground up milk jugs. All right, it's plastic that you melt down into some pellets. And this is really, really cool. Let's show everybody the pellets, okay? This is milk jugs that's just ground down, melted, and you use this to make various color boards. Now, how do you take a white milk jug and turn it into a brown or a beige or a gray? What do you do?
We'll add color, we'll add our stiffening agent, our rock, to the ground up pellet. And
why do you need a stiffening agent in a plastic board?
For our span. Our 5/4 board will span 16 inches on center. Our 2x6 board will span 24 inches on center.
And that means when you're walking on your dock or you're walking on your deck or something like that, you don't want it to bend or anything like that. You want it to be able to hold some weight.
Correct.
Okay. Now, John's talking about the downside to this pressure-treated lumber, that once a year he's having to apply some type of expensive stain or some type of a sealer, and it's just not working. I mean, the wood is literally disintegrating on him. What type of maintenance is involved with a synthetic board like this Lumberock?
With Lumberock, your maintenance is just cleaning, power wash, and that's it. There's no sealing, there's no additives that you have to do to the board on a yearly period.
Okay, well, we saw what 3 years gets you down here in South Florida with pressure-treated lumber. What's the life expectancy of this Lumberock right here?
Lumberock comes with a 50-year warranty.
Holy smokes, man. That's pretty. What are the colors that it comes in?
Our colors are green, gray, white, putty, tan, cedar, redwood, chocolate brown, green, our newest color, weatherwood, and black.
Wow, you have a lot of variety. What are the different thicknesses and widths of the material?
For our deck boards, we offer a 5/4 board and a 2x6 board.
What is John Kriska, what did he opt for, the 5/4 or the 2x6?
John is using the 2x6 board.
Okay, fantastic. Now, hey, this is cool. This, guys, is porch board, okay, where you have tongue and groove. And man, would this save a lot of those classic homes that have those beautiful porches?
Exactly.
That is really, really cool. And what's this white? And are we going to use this in our project today?
We are using white. This is our white 1x10 fascia. We're using a white 2x4 for trimming out his marina.
Okay, I see that we have some caps for the railing. Are you making a new railing system for people?
We have a railing system.
What thickness of Lumberock would they use for railing?
They would use whatever their imagination holds. Typically, people will use a 2x4 top and bottom with the 2x2 spindle, and then either a 5/4 or a 2x6 cap it and turn it upside down.
So there's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options.
This Lumberock. Now take a look at some of John's pilings, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And also take a look at this example of Lumberock here. That might look really nice as a decorative trim, kind of going around a piling. There's a lot of ways to kind of use this. And I know a lot of people that are watching the program actually are waterfront homeowners. We have an entire marine industry that watches the program, marina owners watching the program, and I know they're going to want to hook up with you. Okay, how do people get connected?
Hit our website, www.lumberock.com. We'll be happy to send out samples, send literature, put you in contact with the nearest distributor or retail lumberyard that is carrying our product.
I selected Lumberock for my dock at my house, and we put it in about 4 or 5 years ago, and it hasn't changed color. It's just as pretty as the day that we put it in, and there's no maintenance. Okay, this is a very, very cool product.
I invited John Kriska, the owner of Blowing Rocks Marina, up to Elgin, Illinois to watch us manufacture the board for his marina.
You know, I think that's why John is such a successful marina operator, is he really pays attention to the detail. And we have changed locations on you. We're in Elgin, Illinois at Engineered Plastic Systems. This is where they manufacture the Lumberock. And this is the owner, this is Jack Joyce. And Jack, what is this piece of the manufacturing process right here?
John, this is a heated embossing wheel, and what we're doing is we're putting the board through that wheel, and we're embossing a wood grain pattern on there, which provides both slip resistance and gives it an aesthetic look of natural lumber.
Phil, who also works at Lumberock back at the marina, was telling me that this board is made from recycled milk jugs. Could you kind of show me how you take a solid plastic, mix it up, melt it down, and you turn it into board?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, John. John, this is Lumberock. This is a milk jug that was put out for curbside recycling. And I have a processor who will take this milk jug, pick it up from your curb, and reprocess it into a usable pallet.
Now, why is the material slightly green, Jack?
Well, what the processor will do is he'll take and mix all the milk jugs and the bottle caps together, and so the different color caps will provide a different hue to the material, and it comes out a little greenish.
What are these vacuum lines all about?
Well, these lines are feeding a gravimetrical blender, and the blender is actually creating a recipe that we're using. Part of the recipe is this material right here, which is a mineral fill that we use to enhance the strength of the board.
So these are rock pellets. Can you tell me what type of rock specifically it is?
It's a rock, John. We prefer not to tell you what it is, but know that the rock provides strength, additional strength to the board.
Okay, and it doesn't mold and it doesn't rot.
Correct.
Okay. So I see that you have a lot of different bins here going up through these vacuum lines. Where's it going?
They're going into that gravimetrical blender, as I say, that's going to create the recipe. What that blender is doing is it's weighing up each of the different components of the recipe, dropping it into the bin and blending it further, mixing it and dropping it into the throat of the extruder.
So you have to melt it. What kind of temperature are we talking about here?
The extruder is a big corkscrew, and that's heated to about 400 degrees to mix everything together and create a pliable material that we can form into shape.
I see it coming out in a molten form, and why are you chilling it right away?
What we want to do, we're creating a shape there. We're running a 2x6 profile. What we're trying to do is create a shape, and what we want to do is put a skin on the outer edge of your board, and how you accomplish that by cooling it.
Okay, so you can actually add in some different colors, and you can make a lot of different variety colors with this Lumberock.
Correct.
Okay, now I see a very long run of the board coming out, and why such a long run?
The biggest bottleneck in our process, John, is cooling the board. So we have about 150 feet of cooling, both with water tanks and air cooling.
Now you already showed me the embossing process. Now you put the pattern into the board. But what type of length can you make with the Lumberock?
John, we could make really any length. We go from anywhere from 4 feet up to 20-foot lengths.
Okay, now how much board can you manufacture here at the facility in a single day?
Well, to put it in perspective, we manufactured all the boards for John Kriska's Blowing Rock Marina in one day.
Holy smoke, man, that is really cool. Now, a lot of these synthetic lumbers, the material isn't consistent all the way through. And like if you take a router bit on some of these other competitive brands and stuff like that, you see some color change and everything. Is that true with Lumberock?
That's a big benefit of our material, John. You could take and put a router bit to the edge of the board to give it a nice, clean, finished look because it's colored all the way through.
Well, John Kriska is really trying to transform this marina, do a big makeover, and he's trying to make it like a resort. So I think maybe some routing of the material would really give it a nice finished look. A lot of people at home that are boat owners, waterfront homeowners, we're very environmental, okay? And this is a way to keep a tremendous amount of garbage out of the landfills and turn it into a usable product. How do people at home get you?
They would go on our website, lumberock.com, and request a sample is the best way to do it. We'll get some samples out to you. We'll give you about a week, and then we'll follow up with you to gauge your interest.
Jack, unbelievable look around. Thank you so much, but we have a lot of work ahead of us back at the marina.